off the hair, make it look good. All right guys, Tyler and Jacob back again with more installation video needs. This is the beginning of the Bronco / Bronco Raptor 7000 series belly skids. This is the first skid we're gonna do the installation on. Not the installation, the assembly on. This will be the front skid that goes up and covers your front differential, oil pan, that kind of stuff. So probably the easiest one to assemble, so we'll just jump right into it. So you'll have this one big steel piece. This is the actual structure behind it. You'll have your 7075 aluminum, which is etched to the side that needs to go up, and you'll see that it all lines up perfectly. And then you'll have your UHMW goes underneath there like that. So I think flipping this over like this is going to be the easiest way to attach this stuff, just like that.
So there will only be 2 different kind of bolts in the hardware kit. For these, you'll need all the little small ones for all of the UHMW and steel bolts, and then these 3 big ones will be when we install it on the Bronco.
Pretty easy assembly on this guy. Just install, well, these ones don't go, right?
Those ones don't go.
Don't put these ones in. We'll put them over here. All right. Then we can just install our not quarter 20, these are 3/8/16 jam nuts on the back side, and then we'll tighten them down. So we do get this very often as a question is, what is the torque spec on UHMW? There is a torque spec, but to do this in a timely manner, or if you even don't have a torque wrench, we're just gonna show you how we install it, and Jacob and I have done 100 of these. So we really just rely on eyesight and watching the UHMW. If you over tighten it, you can pull that bolt through the UHMW. We are just going off of it's a piece of plastic going into a hard substance like aluminum. So we don't want to over tighten it, but you want to make it tight enough to where it's going to hold it. Here, will this help if you can see?
No, we're good.
So you got to start off.
Install video.
Got to start off with one. All right, so if you're doing it by yourself, just keep an eye on it. We've got the setting on this down pretty far. But if you watch, just tighten it down until it actually hits the jam nut, and then you're not going to splay out the UHMW like that. It doesn't need much. Once the nylock is engaged, it isn't going anywhere. So,
there's one in the middle bottom.
All right, so it's as easy as that. This piece is now assembled, and we can move on to the next one. This is what we call a manta ray skid. It's what covers up those factory cross members that go from the transmission cross member. So, order of operations here, we're gonna start off with attaching the UHMW to the aluminum, and then we'll go to actually bolting all the bracketry to its place and making it the full manta ray again. So
you've got a hardware kit in this box. There's lots of bolts. Many of them are seen here. Small sample. You'll have some M10 countersunk bolts and some M12 hex head bolts. These will be for installing the skid on the Bronco, so we don't need these right now. So we can go ahead and set all those aside. Otherwise, there's only one length of 3/8 countersunk bolt and jam nuts. So those will go as we use these in our spots for 3/8 hardware. And then we've got 2 different lengths of 1/4 inch bolts, one 1 inch, one 5/8. There's only 2 1 inch ones in here, so we'll tell you where those go. 5/8 everywhere else. Jam nylock for that. And then got our carriage bolt. Those will go in 6 different carriage bolt spots. So good to get all your hardware organized and separated out before you start, like we've got here.
well, I think we'll start with the wings, and we'll just take the wings and the UHMW and line it up to its proper place. Are these all the same size bolt, Jacob?
Yep, yeah, these are all gonna be our short 5/8 long.
All 5/8, 1/4 and 20s, and nuts. And we can go ahead and tighten this down, right?
Yep.
Because once it's up, it's not gonna be possible. So put all our 1/4 20s in. You good, or you need more? Dos más?
Yes, thank you.
It's not an install unless
Nope.
you throw something. And this portion of it we'll just speed up while we're doing this. Do 2 more. All right, and then we'll get a 7/16. We'll put it on a ratchet. So we'll talk about this again. There is a torque spec for UHMW and the 1/4 20 and 3/8 bolts. But if you don't have a torque wrench or anything, just use your best judgment. If you over tighten it, you can pull it through the UHMW, but as soon as you start to feel that lock nut actually engage, it's gonna be good. So we'll just go just like that. Pass the tools, and then this piece is assembled. All right, so while Jacob's actually doing that, we're gonna move on a little bit. You'll see each box will come with its appropriate parts and appropriate hardware. So we'll just continue on with this little spacer here. You're not going to need it for the assembly, but you will need this for the actual installation. So just showing that it'll come in this box. So we'll put it off to the side because we don't need it right now. Next step, we can bolt some more UHMW down. So if you actually look at the aluminum, it's all etched to where there's going to be steel bracketry on it. And then where it's just aluminum, it's just going to be a couple of bolt holes. We already had this assembled for a test fit, but we took it apart to redo this. So you can see all the etches where all the steel bracketry is actually going to be. So we'll put countersunk bolts in those positions where we're not going to be putting steel hardware at this moment. All right, so after we get a couple of these bolts in this one, I'll hand this off to Jacob to get tightened, and I'll start on the next one. Perfect. Then we'll grab our other piece of aluminum and UHMW.
Like Tyler said, we refer to our torque specs.
Done. All right, so we'll put those back where they go. One more piece.
Last piece of UHMW is going to be this guy. Notice there's 2 riv nuts in here, so those are going to get just bolts, obviously, and no nuts. Everything else gets a bolt and a nut. Quarter inch, still 5/8.
These are all 5/8. All right, the 2 with the riv nuts, obviously, just put in your quarter 20 bolts, like so. And for these little quarter 20s, we really like this little tool instead of hammering these with an impact because they're smaller. And then we'll tighten these down. All right, now that that's assembled as well, we can carry on. What's next?
So let's start with this bottom piece UHMW here, part we just assembled. So you'll be able to again see the etch here where this goes. You'll note also in this guy, there's 2 PEMs pressed in. So those will get some just 5/8 quarter inch bolts.
I bet
right
that
on the
would.
back side right there.
Bet those would hold it in place really well so you can get the rest of the bolts in. Let's see. Oh, it's meant to be. Weird. Put those guys in, and that'll actually hold it. Then we can put our 3/8 in. Get the right one. Yes.
Gotta beat you to it.
All right, back to the impact. I'll hold the back side while Jacob tightens down that side. Lovely. All right, we're getting somewhere. It's starting to turn into something.
Let's put the wings on that piece, I think, next. Get this piece out of here for the moment.
All right. So all the aluminum is etched where these things are gonna land, so it's pretty cut and dry on how they're actually gonna go on, but it should end up something like this. I do see a quarter inch hole here. Is that where our 1 inch goes?
So if you'll notice, we're going through this time 3 pieces of material, so that's longer, so that's where our 1 inch bolt's gonna go. We can go ahead and put those in now. That way we don't put them in the wrong spot.
And then 4 3/8 countersinks per side?
Yep.
Come on. I know how to do things, just sometimes it doesn't look like it. It's starting to look like a TIE fighter. We'll do the same thing. We'll rack it up, Jacob that side. I'll take this side, top one. Lovely, amazing, beautiful, awesome. Before we forget. Come on.
There we go. Good now.
See, you don't need impacts. All right.
So I think while we're here, you'll notice we've got 1 empty hole here. So that's just gonna be a UHMW bolt with one of the quarter inch and lock nut, so we can go ahead and do that now.
Just fill that hole. All right, other piece of aluminum.
So again, we've got our etches. We'll line up. This will go under here like this, just like that.
And then 4 countersunk 3/8 bolts right there. That'll hold it all in place. Come on. There it is.
So one thing I think worth noting is now that we've got those loosely started, let's go ahead and put this piece on loosely. That way all the bolts line up nicely. You'll see this is directional. The holes are different, so it only goes on one way, but we'll tie in with carriage bolts here on the side at the end.
Perfect. All right. Okay. With all these attached, can we tighten them down?
Yep, now we can go ahead and tighten all these down.
Perfect. We'll do the same thing we've been doing. Let's figure out where to start. How about right here? I don't know why I'm switching. And this one. You're anticipating me going on top. Boom.
All right. Now that we got all those tight, let's go ahead and do 2 carriage bolts. Get those out of the way. And you'll see one side has a circle, one side has a square. So the carriage bolt will go in from the square side.
We can tighten. That just attaches the wing to the center support and everything else. All right. So it looks like one of the last pieces of steel. Obviously, you'll see right where it goes. And it'll take 7 more, and that should be the last of your countersunk 3/8 hardware.
And you'll note it's got a little flange bend in it. You want that to go down onto the UHMW. You don't have to be sticking up like this, because then there's a big half-inch gap here. So
yeah, it needs to be flat on it.
Sit nice against the UHMW.
Hey, you need some of these, don't you?
Yeah.
And then looks like these two also go in here.
So these will be directly into the steel, and then the bigger holes here will be unpopulated. That'll be a mounting hole for the putting the skid up underneath your Bronco.
Let's tighten them down just so they're done. Oh. And how about this one? And this one? Yeah.
You did.
Hands of steel. Yes. All right, so stuck in my pallet.
Yep.
There we go. We'll flip it this way for this time.
Oh.
Is that gonna freak you out at all?
No, we just need to.
All right, so I think the last part of this is going to be installing your sway bar mounts. So these will actually attach to the factory sway bar mount and attach this skid plus all the other bolt-on options for this. Which way do they go?
So they'll have a nice big etch on them. One of them will say DS at the end, the other will say PA at the end. So the PA is passenger side, the DS is driver side. So I've got a driver side one here. So it'll go on the inside of this piece, out just like this. That way, once it's on the vehicle, you've got some access to these bolt holes right here.
And as you can see, square holes, carriage bolt through it, through the mount, washer, nut. Now these ones we won't tighten, but you can get them a little tighter so it saves your wrenching time when you install it. But they're pretty well length, everything, so we'll just leave it like that. And that's the manta ray. All right, we'll keep moving on. Another piece. Which piece is this, Jacob?
This is our front fuel tank and transfer case skid. It's going to go between our cross member that you'll install and the factory transmission cross member. So,
cool.
This hardware kit, I would say, has the most variety of bolts. A bunch of them, though, we'll only need for installation. So we got the big M12 hex heads. That's install on the vehicle. Set that aside. Big M12 countersunk bolt, same thing. And then, so you'll notice we've got two bolts that look similar. One of them is M10. One of them is 3/8. The taller one is going to be M10. There's only going to be one of them. That one's going to be for install on the vehicle. And then our 3/8 is slightly shorter, also for install on the vehicle.
And it's standard versus metric.
Yes.
If it doesn't thread in, don't hammer it.
Also got a 3/8 button head with a washer here. This is also going to be for installing on the vehicle. Don't need that now. This is what you need to put this together. We've got our 7/8 inch long, 3/8 countersunk bolt, so short countersunk bolt. We'll need a number of these. With our nylock washers, some of them without nylocs. And then we've also got a couple fastener caps for these, only 3 of them, so not too many to worry about here. And then we've got 2 different lengths of 1/4 inch countersunk bolts, 1 inch, 5/8. There's only a couple 5/8. We'll show you where to use those, otherwise 1 inch everywhere, some with and without nuts.
And I can tell this piece is the front of the gas tank because it has the fastener caps etched onto it. So let's put those on. And I'll put these on with no fastener caps because this is over towards the T-case and doesn't really need them.
Sounds good. In the hardware kit, you'll also have these 3/4 inch long bolts, as well as the 7/8 inch ones here. There's only 3 of the 3/4 inch long ones. These are going to go with your fastener caps and fastener cap washers on the front of the fuel tank skid, where the etches are. There's 3 circles etched. That's where your 3/4 inch long bolts go. Short bolts, fastener cap washers, go there. 7/8 everywhere else. Me and Tyler are going to put these 2 pieces of UHMW together.
I'm going to use the 7/8 inch long bolts on my side. 7/8.
No fastener caps.
I think just these 5 inner ones, this kind of square star pattern.
You can actually do one in that one too.
And these ones. Lovely. Could have swore I had one here.
All right, on the front fuel tank skid, once you've got these 3 tightened down, go ahead and snap the black fastener caps on. Should be a nice big click. You'll notice if you use the long bolts here, these fastener caps won't go on.
I dropped something.
Tyler's just throwing things.
All right. So UHMW is attached. What's the next step?
So we'll go ahead and just work on one skid at a time here. And real quick, we've got a couple pieces of UHMW that you'll notice that'll fit onto these rail adapter pieces. These will be put on after they're installed. Oh, sorry. I grabbed the same one over there. Set that one aside. We've also got this little nut stick that'll be in here. That's going to be for installing the vehicle, as well as this kind of cross member tie in here. That'll just be put on your Bronco and then skids bolted up to it. So,
Pieces are dwindling.
now it's easy. We only have 3 pieces left.
Lovely.
So we'll start with this guy. Got lots of rib nuts in the bottom here, as you can see. So what we will do, so you'll see this rail piece sits on here so lines up. I like to install these top 2 bolts first to hold it on before we go to the bottom. Make sure you get your fastener cap washer on this one. There we go. That might be problematic.
That's problematic. I was just trying to hold it.
So right here, we're going to use one of our 1-inch long bolts with a nylock, 1/4 inch size, in from the bottom. So now that we've got these 2 attached, we can go ahead and flip this over. And we've got a bunch of 1/4 inch bolts, and you'll notice one 3/8 bolt here as well. That's going to be one of the normal 7/8 inch long 3/8 bolts, and it's going to thread into a weld nut here on the rail adapter, like that.
Then 1 inch.
And then all of your 1 inch long or 1/4 inch diameter bolts.
1/4 by 1. Do you have the
I do.
Tulio? This is why you don't hammer down on the first bolts you put in. Sometimes you need a little bit of alignment. And when you're using countersunk bolts, they're more prone to needing perfect alignment than a regular old bolt. But that's how we achieve our flat skidding. Good?
All right, now that you've got all those in, we can go ahead and tighten them down. This last one here, or this last 1/4 inch one anyway, before we forget.
Don't need no ratchet. And then your last fastener cap. Install fastener cap. Don't forget fastener cap. Did I say fastener cap enough? Fastener cap fell off. Fastener cap.
All right, so the last piece of this skid, we've got 2 little cap plates here. You'll see one of them fits on one of them and not the other.
Fastener cap.
So if we flip this over, you'll see these 3 bolt holes here. That's where these guys are going to go. You'll use 2 of the 1-inch ones into the rib nuts, and then this is where you're going to use 1 of the short 1/4 inch bolts. So 5/8 long one with a nut into the one, that one. Leave these all loose until they're all in.
And we'll just put our nut on the back side and I'll hand wrench. Now you know what material it's made out of. So is this piece done?
That piece is done.
All right, so front gas tank complete. Let's finish the T-case. The T-case is gonna be pretty similar.
Yep, basically the same exact process.
This side gets the rail.
Yep.
So here's your passenger side rail. Again, it's gonna go boop. 3/8 bolt, 1/4 inch bolt, same as the other side to hold it in place, and then we'll flip it over and get it the rest of the way. This side does not need a fastener cap because we're not worried about the T-case. It's stronger than the plastic gas tank. All right, so pretty much identical to the other side. There's gonna be a 3/8 bolt here that threads into a weld nut, and then 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 1-inch long 1/4 countersunks. Here you go. Get all these started and then we can tighten them down. With those tightened, we'll trade tools. Get your last 3/8 right here. And then this last 1/4, give me that one, I'll give you this one. Trades these. And then the piece de la resistance. It's upside down, but same deal as the other side. 2 1-inch into squeeze nuts, and then 1 shorter guy with a nut. These are perfect little spots to do some accent colors behind the cutouts. All right, tighten these other ones down. And I think that'll about do the assembly video, won't it, Jacob? So we do ask, the hardware kits that come with each one are going to be for the assembly and the mounting of that skid. So try to keep them with each other. If you just take all the extra hardware and mix it together, it's not gonna be that fun. If you keep it, we have it here. This is the rest of the bolts for these 2 skids, the gas tank skid and the TK skid. You'll be much better off because when we go to the install video, you'll see where each one goes. Until then, all right, step 3, step 4, what it is, whichever one you want to call it. This is your rear gas tank and mid gas tank skid that'll run into the manta ray we just did, right?
Nearly.
Sure.
To the front fuel.
And then there's the front fuel tank. All right, so anyways, what we're gonna do here, same thing, we're gonna go over what's gonna be in the hardware kit because there's a lot in the hardware kit. We're just gonna explain the different bolts that are actually in there.
All right, so start with, we've got some 3/8 countersunk bolts. There's 4 long ones and a bunch of short ones. So basically your long ones are gonna be for installing the skids on the vehicle. So we set those aside, don't need those right now. The short ones we're gonna use here. So there's also going to be cam nylocks, which we will use on the short ones, and then these funny looking washers, which are for these fastener caps, which are going to go on all of the bolts on top of this to protect your fuel tank from the head of the bolt itself. So there's those. We've got some 3/8 carriage bolts, which are going to be all for install on the vehicle. So we can go ahead and set those aside too. Yep, this is another just combination of our long 3/8. And then we've got two different kinds of 1/4-inch bolts. We have some countersunk ones and two button head ones. The button head ones, again, going to be for install on the vehicle. Set those aside. Countersunk ones we'll use a bunch of, so have those at hand. All right.
So I think the first step is the aluminum to the UHMW. There are spots that are not going to be held together with steel bracketry here, and they are etched, and it explains very well that we want to use the 3/4-inch long bolts with fastener caps in these locations. And the reason that is because the shorter bolt with fastener cap and with everything else on it will be the correct length for the fastener cap to actually attach over top of it. If you use the long one in this location, it won't let the fastener cap go on. But if you use the long one going through this steel bracket and this and that, it will be the correct length. So just make sure you use the 3/4-inch bolts here, and you're only gonna have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 of them. And then everything else is for attaching the bracketry to the skid. So we'll attach the aluminum first to the UHMW, then it's just done and out of the way.
Oh, you're short.
Perfect. And again, with the tightening sequence, don't put your 1/2-inch gun on it. We've got a little 3/8 on setting 1. That's all it needs. So once you're actually got these two tightened down, we're gonna show you how these fastener caps actually work. So they're gonna be little tiny fastener caps. Jacob's gonna go grab the camera. When these are actually fully tightened down, you take these fastener caps, you go snap, and it's on there. Snap, it's on there. Won't come off. And now your gas tank actually will sit plastic compared to possibly sitting on a nut. No one likes to sit on nuts.
So just put this one aside for the moment if we want.
Put that one to the side for the moment. Give me these. We'll say this is doable by yourself because Jacob has done it before, but if you got an extra hand, it's worth it. Who doesn't like having a buddy in the shop to help him out, right? That one's too long. Do you have all the bolts? Now, me and Jacob can notice when the bolt is too long, but again, 3/4-inch bolts only right here. Now, we're not gonna have a problem with anything getting mixed up. If you do that step first, you'll have no problems. Put caps on them, and then you're done with that step. What's next?
Let's go ahead and start bolting some steel stuff. We can start with this guy. So this is our adapter rail to our frame rail here. It'll bolt on just like this with mostly 1/4-inch bolts, 1 3/8 bolts with a fastener cap. You'll notice there's a piece of UHMW that'll also be for this. It goes on the outside here. We're gonna go ahead and set that aside for now because this will need to be off when you install the skids on the vehicle so you have access to these holes. And then once those are on and the skid install is done, then we can put the UHMW on. But don't need this for now. So
Put it over there.
I like to put the 3/8 bolt in first to hold this thing in place.
And that's a long 3/8 countersink, 7/8 long with a fastener cap. Then a couple 1/4-20 countersunks, and they all line up just like they should. Can we tighten these?
I would leave them all loose until they're all in. Then you can tighten them.
Deal. All right, so now that I've got all these 1/4-20s in, tighten them down. I didn't know if you wanted the other piece on there
No,
first.
it's fine.
There's no need in doing all these 1/4-20 countersunk bolts with an impact. Just tighten them by hand. That piece is installed.
So I think one good thing to note at this point is in the box you'll see this piece. So this is going to be used if you have a non-Raptor Bronco. You'll see 3 riv nuts on the back here. It'll install right here with these guys and give you a nice flush surface up to your rear link mount. So we're installing this on a Raptor, so we're going to go ahead and leave this off. And if you have a Raptor, you can just set this aside. You don't need it. But if you don't have a Raptor, you can go ahead and bolt this guy up right now with some button heads.
Perfect. Literally because the regular non-Raptor Bronco has different lower link mounts. So, did we tighten that guy? Let's tighten that guy before we forget and put a fastener cap on it so that it's just done skis, fastener cappy. Next part. This one?
Sure, why not?
Let's do this one. And everything lines up to pretty much one spot only. So, I don't think you can really mix up where the bracketry goes. So while I bolt this on, what's it, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5? And again, like I said, it can be done by yourself, but if you got an extra hand, it's worth it. Again, all these are gonna get the fastener caps and the special washer. Don't put the washer on upside down. you will notice the bolt is not long enough if you put it upside down. Tighten.
Yep.
Here we go. I'll hold this. You do that. Wrong way. Check your impact. Make sure you're going the correct way.
Again.
Next, shall we flip it around?
Do some fastener caps before we forget.
Ah, fastener cap. See, there you go. 5 of them bad boys. I always like to hear either 2 pops or 1 really big, good pop on those, and then it's really fun when you do this, and then you got to try to find which one isn't. We're gonna flip it around.
All right. So we'll start with this guy. This is gonna go in the long straight section where it fits. Fastener cap, everything.
Tighten. Correct way. Fastener caps. Next.
All right.
This piece. Where's that go?
So it's gonna go in the back corner here.
Oh!
You'll notice that we've got 2 pieces here, so it won't really line up if it's on the outside. That small one in the back does go on the inside for this carriage bolt slot. Should line up.
More
nicely,
fastener caps?
like that. Always more fastener caps.
I haven't dropped anything yet, Jacob.
I have.
Normally it's a team effort. Fastener caps. Boom!
All right.
Do we put this carriage bolt in?
No. That's going to go through a cross member on install.
Leave it open.
So leave it open. Now, we can bring this guy back.
Where's it gonna go? Show them that.
It's gonna go in the front here. So you'll see one side of this has 1/4 inch holes. The other side has 3/8 holes. The 1/4 inch holes are gonna go into the rail here, just like that. You can go ahead and spin it around, probably put it on over here. One thing of note on this side, you'll see we got 1, 2, 3 1/4 inch holes and then a 3/8 hole. So this 3/8 hole is gonna get one of these 7/8 long countersinks with no nut, because there's a welded nut in the rail adapter here. So go ahead and thread that one in. And this one you'll want to leave all these loose until they're all in, as we're finding. Here, try that now. Probably should have left those loose.
We won't mention that. 3 more of these 3/8 by 7/8 countersunk bolts with fastener caps. Just remember fastener caps all the time, all the fastener caps.
Also go ahead and grab our last steel piece here, a little bend in it.
Huh.
It's gonna go right there.
Fits like a glove. These should be your last 3 fastener cap bolts. Come on, you son of a... Tighten?
Let's go ahead and flip it over and put these 1/4 inch bolts in first. Those 3.
Here you go.
Thank you. All right, now we can go ahead and tighten out. All of our bolts are in for this piece. Now we can tighten them. Start here since we're here.
Don't forget your fastener caps. Let's tighten all those now. All right. Oh, socket stayed. And the rest of your fastener caps. Pop them on. Oh, that one's attached.
I did that as well.
Not attached. All right. What's next? Anything else on
So
this
that's
skid?
pretty much that. You'll notice obviously a couple parts here we've still got. And this piece, aluminum UHMW. This will all go on during install onto the vehicle, so no need to worry about those now.
Perfect.
Otherwise, our rear fuel tank is assembled.
Complete.